Welcome to another episode of Stack Your Points. As always, I'm Matt from the Matt Clausen YouTube channel. I was held under embargo until this morning. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go check out my channel. Very weird feeling. Very happy to have had that happen, and there may be more coming soon. But we're also joined, as always, by RJ from 2 Minutes, Points, and Miles. RJ, how are you today?
You know what, Matt? I'm on vacation. I'm visiting some family down in Florida. So I'm not working today, which makes it a pretty darn good day. And I won money at bingo. Had two bingos.
How much did you end up winning?
I haven't actually counted it because I never count money while I'm in the middle of playing, be it cards or bingo or whatever. It's $30.
No, it's not nothing. We're also joined by Lonnie from the Call Me Lonnie YouTube channel. Lonnie, how are you today?
Feeling good, looking great. Pretty busy day. Half watched your embargo video. That was a pretty good one. Has nothing to do with me, but that's what I listened to while walking my dog this morning.
I appreciate it. Not doing as great on views as I hoped it would, but I have realized that those who refuse to see the light, they'll learn in time.
I have found a kind of use for Rove. There's hope for everybody.
Excellent.
Hey, it's not Matt getting me another credit card.
That'll come in time, I'm sure. Because these things happen. I was serious. I had an application open for another JetBlue business card before the podcast.
Matt, don't.
Seriously considering filling it out.
Why? We're on the podcast, Matt. Explain to the people why.
Oh, I just wanted to see if I could get another card from them, get the welcome offer again, and if it had a higher limit, then cancel my current JetBlue business card.
Okay, Matt. Okay.
So I can keep reaping all the benefits. What I really will end up doing is just applying for the personal card. I have the Chase marketing slots. I don't see Chase opening up any more cards in the not too distant future. And I think I'm at my cap with how much credit Chase will extend to me. So, yeah. Anywho, as we like to do, we tend to answer questions first and foremost on this program. So our first question comes from TrailRunTony. And if you want to ask questions, join our Discord, stackyourpoints.com. We have merch, we have the Discord link, and we have links to all of our channels. TrailRunTony asks, do you have a hard rule related to domestic family travel, 3+ people, on how far the destination has to be before you decide that you're flying instead of driving? An example being, if it's over 5 hours of driving with your family of 4, you're using points and miles or cash to fly to the nearest airport to your vacation destination. RJ, I'll start with you. Is there any sort of hard rule with domestic family travel?
No, not really. I'm from the Northeast, as Matt, I'm sure, can attest, and Lonnie being from the Midwest. Like, it's not uncommon for it to be like, oh, it's 7 hours. We're just gonna drive that. So now some of it is depending on, is the airport convenient, right? Because if I'm going somewhere and the nearest airport is 2 or 3 hours away, which is not entirely uncommon, why would I drive an hour to get on a plane to then have to rent a car and drive more? If I'm going, say from here, we're doing a trip to San Diego as a family. Like, obviously we're gonna fly that, but even if it was Baltimore or something where we could drive it, like the airport's right there. So it's not so bad. But yeah, a lot of times 7, 8, 9 hours we'll still drive, but there's not really a rule. It really is gonna depend on who's going. But yeah, no. I'm Northeast loves us a car trip.
Yeah, I also wouldn't say that there's a hard and fast rule for me. I will say with my particular family setup that if it is myself, my partner, my kiddo, my kid has a very, I don't want to say it's a hard tolerance with driving, but my kid does not make it. My kid makes it very clear when they have had it with the road, and that's usually about 4.5 hours. So if it's anything over 4.5 hours, they're getting, we'll say, fussy in the back. They did this from 2. They are now 6. It's fun. So if it's less than a 4.5 hour drive, it shouldn't be an issue. If it's more than a 4.5 hour drive, it could be a bit of an issue. So Detroit was a flight. Anything that's going to take me to the Midwest with my family, my immediate family there, is going to be a flight, and I'll just configure that with points or cash or whatever and go from there. So Denver will be a flight. Philadelphia might be a drive. I don't want to make Baltimore a flight because that just feels dumb, but we'll see. But obviously anything south of DC would probably be a flight at this point with my family. If it is just me or me and my partner, we can do 10 plus hour drives. That's fine. But it is all relative. Lonnie, what's your approach here?
I'd fly to the grocery store if I could. My answer is absolutely not. I am within like 6 hours of a couple of different major cities, and I will still go to the airport and pay my little $80 to fly for an hour to get there instead of driving those 6 hours. My only exception is when I am actually at home. So where my parents live, which is outside of Chicago, not a suburb, like central Illinois. And when there is a regional airport in my hometown where my parents live, and then also in Chicago, obviously, and I can fly straight to it. So in most cases, as I had just mentioned, regional airport, if I want to fly anywhere, I would usually fly from my hometown to connect in Chicago and then use Chicago as the jump off point for the actual destination, if you will. Yeah, if I just wanted to go to Chicago, it's the only time I would actually drive, because it's like maybe 2-hour drive from my parents' driveway to the city. And if I flew, that's the regional airport plus Chicago O'Hare, which is actually in Rosemont. It's not in the Chicago proper. So by the time we actually get to the city, it's 3 hours. It actually takes longer. So that's the only time I would drive. Other than that, no, absolutely not.
I just want to see the runway Lonnie's putting in his backyard for the little puddle jumper to take him to the grocery store.
He's one of those like drones now. Like they got the drones that can hold.
See, here's the
family of
thing.
3.
I know what Lonnie's dream car is. I also imagine that Lonnie secretly has a VTOL car, one of those VTOL cars that's being experimented with. And I think that's what he would use.
Just
My dream car
imagine
is
him
not a
as like,
secret. My dream car is a G-Wagon. It always has been.
That's fair.
I've been saving up for a G-Wagon since, I can't even tell you, probably 2015. It's not practical.
Did you steal a VTOL concept from your previous employer on your way out?
I did not.
Okay, that's fair. VTOL cars. If we had VTOL cars, I might feel better about society right now. They'd be terrible, but I'd at least feel that there's that step of progress. But no, we've got LLMs and war and awful.
I mean,
anyway,
even the robo-car scene is pretty, like the Waymos and whatnot, the Zooks. Those things are awesome. There's no Waymo has a steering wheel, you can't use it, but Zooks doesn't. It's just like a small 2 benches in there, 2 small couches. You just sit in the car, no pun intended, let Jesus take the figurative wheel. Man, please, I am all for it. When can I buy one? When can I buy a robo? And no, don't talk about full self-driving with Teslas. I don't even like Teslas. My wife has one. I can't stand that car. I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about true autonomous robo cars that look cool, which does not exist yet.
You want the George Jetson car. That's what you want.
Or a drone. I can literally sit in it and just fly like the ones the bad guys were using in the Incredibles movie.
I still find that phrase incredibly weird, just because he would drop dead of shock of the modern world. A car would blow his mind.
Who?
The phrase, Jesus take the wheel.
Oh.
You show Jesus a car, Jesus is going to drop dead out of just pure fright.
I'm not going to speak for Jesus.
And we have our episode title.
Look at a trebuchet and just car, please.
Matt, RJ and I refuse to go down the rabbit hole today. We're not doing it. We're not taking the bait.
Fine. I'll let the trash pandas fester elsewhere. Anyway, our next question comes from AP, who asks, if I wanted to start my own credit card YouTube channel, don't worry, I'm not interested. What advice would you offer to get started and building a presence? What worked really well for you, and what went really poorly? Lonnie, I'll turn to you first.
The best advice I could say is hit the record button.
Yes.
Just start. You don't have to upload it, but just hit the record button and start recording. I think one of the hardest things is finding yourself in front of a camera, especially when you're talking to a little black or grayish style box with a lens in front of it. It's not the same as sitting talking to one of your friends or being on like a Zoom call with a screen. You literally are just looking at a camera, even if it's like the back of your phone or maybe the front of your phone, but just hit record. The thing is, you don't have to upload it. You can, that first video, you can record as many times as you want before you hit upload. But the thing is, just get comfortable doing it. And then before you can upload, you got to record something. So just get comfortable hitting the record button, get over that fear, that analysis paralysis, the acceptance fear of, are they going to like me or not, or whatever, and just put it out there. And if you do decide to hit upload and people don't like it, guess what? You can just walk away, shut the channel down, don't upload anymore, take the video down if you want to, or just don't respond. I'm pretty sure between the three of us that are on this panel at the moment, we've all received comments or feedback that we didn't like, appreciate, or want to hear. And you know what? We all made adult decisions at that point of how we handled it going forward, but whatever. What really worked well is, actually, before I get to what really worked well, because I'm actually going to answer that part in the second part, what went really poorly. What went really poorly is trying to anticipate what people wanted to see and then just like not being authentic, trying to fall into a mold of, this is what I'm supposed to say. This is what I'm supposed to talk about. Everyone else says this. Even though I don't agree with it, I'm going to say it too, because the rest of creators out there, they all say it this way. And next thing, you're not being authentic. It comes off as not authentic. And then you don't actually enjoy what you're doing because you're actually now talking about something you don't have any experience in because you felt or you agreed with a different way. And so what goes really well is whatever it is that you want to do, rage bait, if it's going to trigger somebody, it's going to trigger somebody. Me personally, people talk crap about the CSR. I didn't. I came out strong saying it was a great card. No one talked about United. I did. That worked really well for me. So like when I started my channel, people were still like, oh, you got to have a Venture X because it's 2X everything. And it's effectively like you're getting paid $5. I don't have a Venture X. Not once have I ever talked about a card I don't have or never had. And I know other creators do in different ways. Some are faking the funk, if you will. If you're triggered by that, it's probably you. And others are talking about it in an informative way. So Matt, I'm actually going to drop your name because I know Matt talks about everything in an informative way, if he has it or not, just to provide the education, the information, the changes. So there's two different things there. My type of content is about cards and experiences in the way of a card holder. So I can't do that, is what I'm trying to say. I won't talk about Capital One. I don't talk about Wells Fargo on my channel. I don't talk about it on this podcast. Every time it comes up, I bow out. Why? Because I don't have it. I don't pay attention to it. I don't know nothing about it. So what works really well? Being authentic to you. What goes really poorly? Trying to fit into the mold that was put in front of you by the collective community. And I'll stop it there.
RJ, you've started and restarted a couple channels. What's your approach here?
Why do you want to do it? That's the first question. Do you want to do informative content? Do you want to do parody content? Do you want to do your experience? Do you want to talk about cards in a more esoteric way? What do you want to do? That's the first thing you have to figure out, because everything is going to go from there. If you want to do Matt style content, watch Matt's videos, right? Watch how he breaks things down, not to copy him, but to understand what makes a video worth watching. If it's something like Lonnie, watch videos that Lonnie makes and understand, okay, he doesn't pull up a spreadsheet and just read every line off of it, right? Like, he's visually interesting. He doesn't just sit slightly off frame on camera and just talk to you and like it's static, right? Watch people that make the kind of content that you want to make and figure out how to translate their style to what you want to do with it. That I think is really important. Like, too many people try to just one for one copy and it doesn't come off authentic, like Lonnie was saying. Like, you have to translate it to you. You have to understand what you're bringing to it. If you're just regurgitating another creator, then just don't, right? But if you have maybe Lonnie style ideas, but for Delta or AA or JetBlue or even United, but you do things differently. Maybe you don't have any work travel, right? So everything you're doing is off of personal. Maybe maybe you're the Craig of a United and hate the fact that your company has a United account and have to book United. So this is how you make it work, even though you wish it was with a different company. Find what makes you unique and go forward that way. If you want to do news, absolutely do news. Matt does not have the copyright on credit card news in the community. He's very good at it. I would say he is the best at it, but he doesn't have a copyright on it. If you want to do news in a different way, do it and make it yours. Because if you just rip him off, what's the point? If you literally are sitting in the credit card dungeon in a plaid blanket, like, what you doing? What you do? Like,
It's
seriously.
a snuggie. It's a snuggie.
I know. But like but if you're just trying to copy Matt, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? So I think that is key, is figure out who you are, figure out what you're bringing to this, figure out what kind of content you want to make, and then don't pay attention to the number of hits for at least a month. Because sometimes nobody is going to watch a video that you worked really hard on, and sometimes everybody is going to watch the video you put out in 15 minutes. Give it a month, give it 6 months before you really sit down and take a look at the numbers, because every one of us at a certain point goes deep in the analytics and we get in our heads and we make a bad video because we're too in our heads at the analytics. Just understand this is not almost certainly going to be your full-time job. Understand, unless you have disposable income to burn or your parents already have a black Amex that you're an authorized user on and they're like paying for your apartment or whatever, probably not going to be your full-time job. So understand that and give yourself over to the fact that your first few videos probably aren't going to get the hits you want, and learn without the full brunt of everybody's attention on you. So once you start getting higher numbers of subscribers, you are ready for it.
YouTube don't pay that much, y'all. We honestly do this for our own personal enjoyment, whatever that is defined as. It ain't for the money.
Nope. It's nice when it comes in, but nope.
I'm not quitting my day job for what I get from my YouTube channel.
No, I'd quit my day job for other reasons, but not this. Not right now.
I don't even count it as passive income because it just folds right back into the next video. The dude that I have do my animations or like graphics. Here it is. Just put it right back in the pot. That's what I pay him with, even though I haven't done a video, put out a video in a while.
Yes.
Public one.
Yeah, it's been about 2 months.
Yeah, I've been busy.
That's fair. Not judging.
Wouldn't care if you were.
I know.
I literally just said YouTube don't pay that much. I gotta prioritize what does.
Egg face. Anyway, no, again, I'll echo what Lonnie and RJ have said. What worked really well. I don't like looking at my face in YouTube thumbnails. One of the things very early on when I started my channel was I didn't like having to take pictures of myself to try and do that YouTube thumbnail photo. There's 6 or 7 that seem to be really click-worthy. I ain't got that kind of time to take that photo. I don't like that kind of photo, and I really don't like clicking on videos that have that kind of photo. What have I done eventually? I scrap that to just focus on the cards or focus on the concept or focus on other things. Now I focus on ChatGPT generated caricatures. And I like the caricatures a lot. I like ChatGPT a hell of a lot less than I did 3 weeks ago for a reason.
Gemini is what I usually use, so try that.
I can't take a product called Nano Banana serious, but I will probably swap.
Nano Banana is what makes 60% of the images on our YouTube, so you should take it at least that serious.
It's the name.
I don't care. Get
Fair.
over yourself.
Dude, you're wearing a Yankee blanket right now, and you care about Nano Banana. I think we got a new title, RJ.
I'm not editing this week, but I strongly support that.
Dude, that might be a 10 out of 10. That might be an 11 out of 10 liner right there. And that's coming from, that one was pretty good. I don't know where that one came from. I don't even have a back pocket on these sweatpants.
I'd like to welcome everyone back to Stack Your Points. On this episode this week, I killed Lonnie inadvertently.
All right, still love you though.
Damn, you do. So
I gotta go on mute because I can't stop laughing.
So it worked really well. Eventually, I hit some of the themes that have worked really well for the channel. Tidbits. I haven't gotten away from tidbits just because I haven't had that swelling of news. When it happens, I put them out. But I tried to do it daily. It was really hard to maintain daily. But people like tidbits. People like Speculation Station. Some of the things that I put together on the news side. And then if I've got no news, commentary. Just record, put something out there. And then when you start putting something out there, at least be semi-consistent. A weekly upload minimum, right? Don't try to go full bore. I have to post something every single day. No, you don't have to post something every single day. If you are able to put something out every day, great. If you're able to put out multiple videos in a day, okay. But consistency will be key. And then if you start building an audience, keep working off of what the audience likes. There's going to be things that the audience doesn't like. There's going to be videos that don't perform well that you like putting together. Be proud of those videos. Don't worry about that. Like, I put out videos about Rove all the time. Disclaimer, I moderate a Facebook group for Rove. It's called the Travel Deals with Rove Facebook group. They give me miles every month to moderate it. Cool. Those videos are not my highest performing videos in any way, shape, or form. But I like putting those videos out. I like doing those videos. I like doing something different than, have you seen the latest build hack? Who cares? Most of y'all care. But
yeah, the next build hack ain't going to be around for too long anyway.
The build card is potentially on borrowed time with the way that people are hacking it left and center.
But another thing that I will add that you had touched on is I don't think people take in consideration how much time it takes to make a video.
Yes.
And it does not mean it has to have lots of high editing and transitions. Like, for example, like my videos the public ones that are. It can be a StreamYard, hit record, and that's it, dry. I do that for my members only video. I know, Matt, that's your style as well for the majority of your videos. But you can take a 10-minute video. Just because it took 10 minutes to record, it'll be another 20 minutes for it to upload, and you put in the title and the thumbnail, which also takes time, and the analytics. Be prepared for that because, as Matt was saying, be consistent. If you want to be successful, the algorithm will support consistency, period. It will. Don't ask me how I know that, but
I know how you know that.
I know how I know that. But anyway, just do what you can do within your own time. So as I had just mentioned, I haven't put out a video in a while because I've had some personal things happen, got other things to prioritize, etc. Am I still going to make a video? Yeah, I'm writing like 2 or 3 of them. I just haven't done it. For me to do a video usually takes about 2 weeks from thinking of the idea, writing it, scripting it out. Of course, I got to produce the thing because I got to know what I want it to look like when it is being edited, edit some of it, outsource some animations to some freelancer guy that I met that does a really awesome job, by the way. So what's up? I'm pretty sure he's watching. And then come back, and then going back to RJ's point, when's the best day for me to upload? Like, my audience is super particular. Most people can upload every day or on Tuesdays or on Saturdays. My videos always come out on Wednesdays because for some reason my audience likes to watch my videos on Wednesdays. So that's why I drop them on Wednesdays. There's so much time that goes into it as well that you also need to be prepared for that. Like I said, even if you just hit record, don't touch nothing, and upload, you still will need an extra like hour or two just for something as simple as that. And I don't think people take that into consideration as well. Like, even as an amateur, before you get monetized, you can put in a good part-time job worth of hours. Even if you're only doing 2 videos a week, you can put in 20 to 40 hours for those 2 videos, depending on your style, that is. So low to high, that is. But other than that, try it. Just try it for a while and see if you like it. And if you don't, bow out. Just walk away. You didn't gain anything. You probably gained some experiences. You didn't really lose anything. You're not losing experiences. And YouTube is still going to be there for you to be a viewer every single day, 24 hours a day. So just try it if that's what you want to do, if you're thinking about it. I thought about being a YouTube creator for almost at least over a year before I ever actually said, F it, I'm going to go do it. And now I look back, I'm like, man, I should have just did it from the beginning.
Yep. And don't be afraid to experiment. Yeah, if you jump in on the credit card side, like, you could talk about your experiences. If your experiences aren't hitting, you can talk about other ways that you're using credit cards. If that's not hitting, you can do something else. Something starts to hit, keep working off of that. There's all sorts of ways to do this. The other thing, like, the only things that can really go poorly is you lose interest, which you did the thing, you tried it, didn't work, you don't care anymore, cool. Or people are people on the internet, which, like, the internet is full of terrible people. That happens. Just don't let it get to you. So thanks, AP. Let's move over to our next question. It comes from Okiewes, who asks, what is your order of operations when booking 1 or 2 night stays when you don't care about loyalty? Cash bookings. RJ, what's your order of operations?
I never don't care about loyalty. Like, legitimately, I don't book a hotel that I don't care about loyalty. I'm either booking through Delta, I'm booking through Amex, or I'm booking directly with Hilton, IHG, or right now Hyatt, because I have Hyatt points from Bilt. But I never don't care about loyalty. Like, I am not the person to ask about free agenty things, right? Now, if you're talking about booking with cash versus booking with points, that's different, right? If MQDs are available for just hotel stays, I go there. If I want to prepay, I go through Amex. If I need the nights for some reason, if there's a promo, I'll book directly with the hotel, right? If we're talking purely about cash, as far as booking a hotel, not talking about burning points, that's generally how I look at it. Can I earn MQDs because those are valuable to me? If not, do I want to prepay? A lot of times I don't want to prepay, so I don't go through the Amex portal, but there are times I do. So I have that option. FHR is a reason, or the hotel collection is a reason to do that. And then from there, it's as simple as booking directly with the hotel. Or now I'm going to try potentially using Rove, depending on pricing and factors like that.
Lonnie, do you have any order of operations? I know you also tend to care about loyalty and the finer things with Big Bougie.
I got to follow RJ on that one. It's a hard question for me to answer because I do care about loyalty. If I were going to do a cash booking and not care about loyalty, it wouldn't be at a quote unquote regular hotel. It's going to be one of the not super luxury, but the secret luxury level style of hotel. You know how like after Conrad and Waldorf and JW, there's like St. Regis and Four Seasons. And then you have that tier above that. No, I'm talking about the tier above that. I'm talking about like Amman Resorts. If you don't know what Amman Resorts is, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm getting at right there. You know what I mean? Like the secret hotels. That'll be the only time I don't really care about loyalty. And obviously, I'd have to probably end up paying cash because they don't have point systems or they don't have a loyalty program at that level because
They don't need.
it's for billionaires. Yeah. Yeah, that's the best way I could answer that. Unless my scratcher hit or I hit the Powerball, then that's the only way I'm not going to care about loyalty. At least once or twice.
That's fair. I will say, if you are looking to book boutique hotels, don't worry about loyalty. If you want to maximize your point earning on boutique hotels that are outside of your IHGs, your Hiltons, your Marriotts, your Hyatt, all of those, first thing would be, is there a portal I can use to maximize my return on that one? I'm not just talking about necessarily the Four Seasons or Amman, which will be in portals for sure, but you're also paying through the nose for those, right?
Bring it. I get $600 a year from Amex.
You know what? Open a new Sapphire Reserve. You got to hit $6,000 in spend. That is one night at an Amman in New York City, at the Amman in New York City, in a particular room. You got 5/6 of the welcome offer done on one night. Booked through Chase Travel. You get $300 back on it. Everything after $301 is 8 times points.
So you're telling me I can't get a room there for $250 a night?
At Amman? Sir, this is Amman.
This is a great episode.
This time I'm not the punching bag. Yeah, you could hit 5/6 of the welcome offer for one night at the Amman, New York. But if you're looking at boutique hotels outside of your regular programs, I already listed most of them. Boutique hotels are a great use to start doing that order of operations. So I want to stay at a boutique hotel. What's available in the portal? Chase Portal is going to give you 8 times points. The City Travel Portal will give you 12 times points on the City Strata Elite. You can look at Rove. I've already done the disclaimer. That would be another great way to go about it. You can look at, what are some others? You can look at Virtuoso type bookings. Another thing that you can do, if loyalty doesn't matter to you, but you want the finer things on your trip, and you don't want to sign up for or worry about your Marriott status or worry about your Hilton status, any Virtuoso travel agent will get you all of the things that FHR can give you on a direct booking through them. It's just not coming out of your annual fee.
Also,
Like
fact check. For the 16th, 17th of May, a deluxe suite on 56th Street at the Amman is $4,027 before tax.
They got higher rooms.
Yeah. Oh,
it can go up to $63,000 for the 3-bedroom home full floor, but sure. I don't think Lonnie is doing the $63,000 for a single night hotel room. Lonnie, I know you're a baller, but like even that might be a little much.
I am not that bougie. I am not. I ain't. You know what? I'm just gonna file that one, and I ain't got it. I might have it, but I don't got it.
Look, I wasn't even gonna go. I'm not even talking about the floor. Like 56th Street view is nice, but the Central Park view on the other side of the hotel, same floor, probably above 5.
I always enjoy when like you see the YouTube creators that actually get allowed and accepted to make a reservation, because let's just stick with Amman. You can put your reservation in and they'll just be like, yeah, you're not our class of people, and they will deny you from even coming. But then like the YouTube creators that actually do it, this is why they're only there for one night, folks. And you only see the studio basement room, because they only paying for the $4,000 room, which I think is ridiculous, because I can get a whole week for $4,000 in other places. But
I'm sorry, Mr. Clausen, are you aware of Mrs. Vanderbilt's list from the 1800s? Sure. Yeah, we run something similar, and you are not allowed. Oh. Thanks. I'll go to the plaza. Bye.
Yeah, you can't check in your sweatpants in your travel wear, is what I'm saying.
No. Jacket is required.
Who knows? Maybe I'll try it one day. Maybe I'll get lucky.
Trash Panda is highly discouraged.
Lonnie's gonna bill that to his employer on his last week of work.
Figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out.
Greatest resignation ever. He spent how much?
I had to go to a conference. It was like a block away. It's the only hotel available.
It wasn't just rooms within a room. It was a floor.
With a butler.
So order of operations when booking 1 or 2 nights, and I'm not really worried about loyalty. I try to put loyalty first. I try to get nights taken care of so that I can maintain some loyalty with Hyatt. Those are going to generally be cash bookings, but I'm doing those through loyalty eligible through Rove. But if I don't care about loyalty, I'm going to start through a portal because I know I can maximize points that way. If it's not in the portal and it's a hotel I really want to experience, I'll just book direct. But most hotels that are like outside of chain, like outside of the reward programs, like the Four Seasons, you can book the Four Seasons relatively easily through Chase Travel and get points boost. And those are going to be typically the 1.67 up to 2. More likely to be 2 than most other places because the Four Seasons is fine selling a room and fine with idiots like me showing up in sweatpants. They're going to insist that I put a jacket on immediately thereafter, but I can show up with the sweatpants.
I think fine is a bit of a stretch of that word. They do not throw you from the building.
I've seen White Lotus. Anyway, so yeah, the order of operations, I start with a portal. If I can't do a portal and I really want to do it, I'm just going to book it direct. Thanks, Okie. Our next question comes from Mitch Ebby1, who asks, if you had to choose between points and miles for one of flights or hotels, so you can do points or miles for flights or points and miles for hotels, and cash or cash back for the other, which would you choose, and how would you modify your current setup to reflect that choice? RJ, I'll start with you.
Probably points and miles on hotels and cash for flights because about 90% of my flights are already cash, so it's the least different. I don't know, I'd get a 2% card for flights. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I would do that, or let them get the Wells Fargo autograph journey and just, instead of redeem points. But yeah, I would do points and miles for hotels. I don't know if this means like perks because I do like the perks I get from airline status, the few that I use, but yeah, I use far more points and miles on hotels because that's generally what happens.
Lonnie?
I would probably do points and miles for hotels and just do the flights in cash. The reason why is because I have so many different cards that will give me the points and miles that I can turn around and use them back for those hotels versus the other way around. There's not really the hotel cards that can give me points and miles I can use for an airline. But for example, Amex, Platinum, my Aspire card, they both, when you pay with the airlines, I get a good amount of MR points or Hilton points back. And that's what I'm saying. I can use those directly with Hilton. Same thing with the Marriott card.
Yep.
So in that regard. Now, in my case, I don't have to modify or change anything in my setup. It's already in place. It's just if I want to do it as a permanent solution or not. So I have to buy a lot of the second part because I already have the cards and a system in place in which I could already achieve that if I wanted to on both sides. if I wanted to do points and miles for flights, or as I got a United card, I got a couple of them, or if I wanted to do it for the hotel side.
For sure. I think I also would do points and miles for hotels as opposed to, and probably cash or cash back on the flights, just because I don't get the opportunity to do a lot of flying. I do significantly less flying than both of my co-hosts. So I would much rather have a way to drive some value using my points directly at hotels. Hotels are far more plentiful. You're more likely going to use points at a hotel regardless, because let's face it, there are times where you just need to escape your family or families or households. So I think that dedicating that toward points, especially because if you did cash back at hotels, like I don't know, it's not that I don't know how that would go over, but like without, then loyalty wouldn't matter to me, because if I'm doing hotels like that and just getting the cash back, I'd be booking through a portal all the time. I'd get the highest portal multiplier I could, or the highest portal cash back I could for a hotel, not care about loyalty, and just book whatever I want whenever I want, because Chase will give me 8% back, or City would give me 12% back, or 10% across the other travel portals. Now, then the question would be, how does could loyalty sway you with higher and higher cashback returns? Maybe. I could see airlines instituting a cashback type system a little bit easier, just because Reach Premier 1K with United consistently save 15% cashback on your tickets. Like, it would cost them some money, but they're going to keep their loyal flyers and make it up in bulk. Maybe. But they would find other ways to get their scratch. So I think doing the cashback approach via airlines would probably make a bit more sense, just because of the scarcity of some people flying. Like, a lot of people only fly 1 or 2 times a year. 8% on 1 or 2 flights versus, or like 10% back on 1 or 2 flights versus the consistent value that points can give you across the board with hotel bookings. I know that value feels like it's falling across the board. Hyatt recently announced they're changing their award chart structure in May. Marriott is always a ton of points for the top end of the chain, the top end of the equation. Your St. Regis's, your JWs, your Ritz-Carltons, those are always going to be a bunch of points per night. But Marriott at least feels like it can give you some value at the mid tiers. Like the Courtyards aren't particularly point expensive. Like, they feel point expensive, but like a Residence Inn isn't terribly expensive points wise. What are some of the other brands below the Ritz and the JW and all of those?
All of them.
I'm looking for like the names of them. There's Residence Inn, there's Courtyard, there's
Doubletree. That's Hilton.
That's Hilton. But like
Embassy Suites, I know that's also Hilton, but I understand what you're saying. Like Hampton Inn, like that tier.
Yeah.
Like Aloft, whatever brand that falls under.
Aloft, AC, a couple of those. Like, those are, at least I will give Marriott this. Those properties feel appropriately priced with the point cost for those nights. It's just that the top end for Marriott will absolutely ruin the Marriott point value across the board. Whereas like a Courtyard can feel okay, or not Doubletree, a Residence Inn near me, which has its own name, that cent per point feels pretty good. Whereas with Hilton cents per point, it doesn't matter where in the Hilton chain I am, whether it is the Hampton Inn, the Hilton Garden Inn, or the Conrad or the LXR. I feel like the number of points that I have to give Hilton feels disproportionate for the amount of value of that night's stay. If that makes sense. Because I don't want to burn 250,000 Hilton points in one night just so that I can say, oh, I got to stay at the original Waldorf Astoria. Cool. It took me how long to get to the 250,000 points, because I'm not dedicating all my spend with Hilton. Anyway, I think the flight cashback approach would probably be better. So, anyway. Thanks, Mitch. Our last question comes from Margraf21, who asks, if you could pick any specific hotel brand and as you can see, I have a wealth of knowledge of all specific hotel brands, to always be in the city or location that you're traveling to, and you have to stay there every time you traveled, what would it be? And there you give examples like the Conrad, the Intercontinental, Ritz. What brand of hotel, regardless of chain or overarching program, what brand of hotel would you always want to stay at everywhere you travel? Lonnie, I'll turn to you. I have a feeling it's going to be the Conrad.
I'm very happy with the Conrad. I have not stepped foot in a bad one. Not to say I've stepped foot in bad in other things. I've stayed at Intercontinentals all over this globe, and only one time has a pipe bust or something happened in the walls where my socks got wet walking through the room. Now, granted, they took care of it, but it's something that happened. Never happened to me at the Conrad. But I also just like the aesthetic of the Conrads, as a brand, just the design aesthetic, if you will. It's like my type of style. That modernish style. It's just my style. I feel comfortable. I feel like home. And that's why I keep leaning into them outside of the experience, the customer service, the Hilton Diamond status, all that aside. Just comfortable. I've stayed at a Ritz. I've never been at a St. Regis. I've stayed at a Four Seasons before. I would still choose Conrad.
That makes sense. For me, I feel like I'm going to mulligan this answer for a very particular reason. I would choose something along the lines of Marriott has its autograph collection. There's the Curio and Tapestry collections from Hilton and the Unbound collection from Hyatt. And these are more traditional hotels in the area, in the cities. So if I could only have one brand, right, any particular hotel brand, I want something that is going to be like unique to where I am. So when I went to the creator meetup in New Orleans, I stayed at the Eliza Jane Hotel. And the Eliza Jane is on Magazine Street. It is a former print house for a newspaper in New Orleans. It is not a particularly big hotel. I know the Roosevelt had a number of floors. I feel like it was more than 9 or something like that. At least 9 floors up off of Canal Street. Lonnie, do you remember how many floors were in the Roosevelt? Yeah. Okay. That's fair. But I want something in that sort of collection, regardless. I could say Hyatt's Unbound collection. That character of hotel is something that can make your experience in the city or in that location, because it's of that city, it's of that location. It's like a part of that culture, which is a huge part of the brand for your stay, right? Because as I said, the Eliza Jane Hotel, former newspaper print house and warehouse and distribution point for that newspaper. If you were doing something similar in Prague or Rome or London, that would be something that has a history to it, a story to it, that is part of the fabric of where you're staying. I think that's pretty interesting. So I think something of that caliber across the brands. Each brand has their own collection of them. Specifically with Hyatt, it's the Unbound. And I want to say it's the Tapestry collection with Hilton, and it's the Autograph collection. I could be wrong on Marriott, but at least Tapestry with Hilton is what I'm looking for. So that brand or that sub-brand, just so that, especially if it's the first time you're going to a city, having that part of the culture of the city as part of your stay is something I find very intriguing. Now with that, you're also going to come with everything that a 19th century former newspaper would be. The floors were pretty creaky, but whatever, it had a certain character to it, and only 2 floors, so there was that. And RJ, if you could pick any specific hotel brand to always stay at, to always be in the city or location where you're traveling to, and you had to stay there every time, what sub brand are you picking?
Intercontinental. I really like the lounge. I really like just the general vibe of the hotel. Everyone I have stayed in has been excellent. I'm staying in 2 more this year in DC and San Diego.
Ooh, the DC one is nice.
Yeah.
It's real nice.
I'm really looking forward to that one. So yeah, I just really like them. And I tend to be able to find good cash values for things like this. So even if I'm not using points, and IHG is pretty good. If you're paying cash, you get a decent bank of points back. So yeah, probably Intercontinental. Maybe a Hotel Indigo if I'm thinking about price a little more.
It's the same, just more modern.
Yeah.
It's literally the almost the exact same. They're really nice though. It's just it's more mainstream, but with the boutique feel.
Yeah.
But it's still, you get the Intercontinental like without the name, but it's like you're getting all the same experience. I'm not downing it. It's great. It's just a
Yeah.
different style of Intercontinental is what I'm trying to say. But for
Yeah.
me, I actually have Intercontinental Legrand in Paris is on my hotel bucket list.
Very
And
nice.
and if you don't know that, go look. Everybody go Google it right now. And I just said I love modern. Like I want Conrad because of modern. No, this is like classic historic Paris, but an Intercontinental and like right around the corner from the Louvre. So that is a hotel bucket list. And no, it is not cheap.
No.
It is,
Paris means money.
yeah.
Yep. I do appreciate that we went with 3 different hotel programs. That was cool. Because I went with Hyatt's Unbound collection, but I would take the same from the Hilton Tapestry, like the Hilton Tapestry or the whatever the Marriott equivalent is. I want to say it's the Autograph, but if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. All right. So with that, let's see. Was there any news to talk about? No, not really. News has been pretty light lately. There's transfer bonuses. Look those up. And Rove added Japan Airlines. Whoop-de-doo. All right. Topics this week. RJ, we'll start with your topic.
Reddit loves to complain about children in lounges. The community loves to, yes. The community loves to complain about people in lounges. But what actually could be done that's at all realistic, other than add floor space or don't let people apply for cards, that would actually change the lounge experience? Because most of the suggestions in these threads or in these conversations boil down to, I have the card, so everybody after me, it should be harder to get, and ban children, which I'm not sure how realistic that is. So what are your suggestions, Matt?
Okay, I have 3. 1, close all lounges. Who cares? You're at the airport you're not at the airport to sit away from the plebeians. No, we're going to go full egalitarian. Shut all the lounges down. United Polaris, I want to sit in United Polaris. Nope. I want to sit in Lufthansa. Nope. I want to sit in the El Safwa lounge. No, we're done. No, just close all the lounges first and foremost. You're going to complain. You're going to bitch. You're going to moan. You have to sit in the Centurion lounge, and that is the only way to justify your card. Guess what? I took away your justification right there. No one can enter the Capital One lounge but me. Cool. The Capital One lounge is now shut down. So first and foremost, shut down the lounges. That would be the easy one. Number 2, here's a strange concept. What if any of these lounge entities, be it Priority Pass or Chase or American Express, decided to go in a different direction and have family-specific lounges?
Some United clubs do that. There's a specific section for families.
I'm not talking about a subsection within the lounge. I'm talking about a whole family lounge.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. And number 3, the airlines start hunting down Reddit, find your username, and after your 3rd complaint, just ban you personally from being able to go to experience the lounge anymore. And blacklist you across all the other credit cards and Priority Pass.
Can the lounges for families be soundproof? Because the sound of children makes me angry.
I don't care where they put it, but I'm sure it's not going to be right next door to whatever lounge you're sitting in.
As long as it's not next to a Centurion or Delta lounge, I'm good.
That is a fast pass to the blacklist for me right now.
Like, I don't genuinely mind, like, most lounge experiences. I also check the Delta app because usually I'm going to a Sky Club lounge, and it will
There's
tell me how busy it is.
47,000 options for you. Families are getting kicked out of the lounges left and center. If there's a family-only lounge next door to that lounge, you've got 67 different options right down the hall.
I just said
You've
I
got
usually check the app to make sure it's not super busy. I do my due diligence, Matthew.
But 90% of Reddit doesn't. Have you
No,
seen
they do
Reddit?
not. If you do want to go to a Delta Sky Club lounge, there is a section in the app, in the Delta app, where you can check the status of the Sky Club lounge and it'll tell you how full it is. It's pretty accurate, but I use that. I'm not going to go to a lounge that's full. Like, if I'm in Atlanta, I'll just go either one over or to a different one in that terminal. But yeah, no. Like, I understand, like, people are jerks. I am just not a jerk. I don't like kids, but I'm not, like, actively hostile to them.
Again,
Most kids, it's not the kid, it is the parents failing to parent.
Yeah, stole my number one, RJ.
Lonnie, I'm going to turn to you now that I've stolen your thunder. Thoughts on the lounges and how to make them not suck.
Yeah, so this is a small group of people that I don't want to call it entitlement, but they feel like they deserve some type of experience as if a parent does not. If you have a credit card that allowed you to get into a lounge and don't have kids, guess what? I am a parent that also has a credit card that allows my family to get in the lounge. So what's the difference there? Let's just call it what it is. And then, as you were mentioning, my number one, it's not the problem with the kids. You have the problem with the parenting of the kids. If the kids are screaming, running around, knocking stuff over, touching everything, I can't stand when kids go up to the buffet in front of me. If I get a kid in front of me, even I'm like, I'm not doing that because they put their fingers in, they're grabbing the fruit with their fingers and all that. I'm like, cool, I'm good. I'll wait till somebody come changes the tray because I am a slight germaphobe and that airports are a cesspool of someone is, oh, I don't feel well, but I feel well enough to still go on this trip. And that's how people get sick on vacation. That's what I'm getting at. So even I have levels of it, but I don't allow my son to do that. I don't allow my kid to run around a lounge or scream or do anything of that nature. We can sit in business class, we can sit in first class, and he's just as still and as quiet and as cordial to everyone around him as if we're sitting in the back. Because I choose to parent him that way. I want him to understand this is how you're supposed to act in public type of scenario. Not everybody does that. And I'm not judging anyone, but I'm just saying not everybody does that. Number two, you don't have kids. So if you're complaining about it, when you do have kids, stay out of the lounges. Full stop. You don't get to complain about it today and be like, man, these kids in here don't belong here. And then you decide to start your family and then go to a lounge like you deserve to be there. Pick a lane. It's one or the other, in my opinion. And I'm going to hold flat on that one. We're going to hold strong to that one. And then number three, so many people judge, especially while traveling on the airplane, in the lounges, the iPad kids. But then you can complain that the kids are running around and screaming and be like, yo, someone get that kid an iPad. Once again, you got to pick a lane. Sorry about it. You got to pick a lane. Now, bringing this all around full circle as someone that has a toddler. And like I said, my toddler is a citizen of the world. I make sure that he says, excuse me. He says, please. He sits quietly. He minds his own business. He doesn't run around. He understands when there's a play area for him, he can go play. That's play area. This is not. That's just how I particularly parent. I'm not saying if you got to do it my way or not. That's just how my wife and we choose to do it. And he likes to act that way in public. He understands when he acts this way, he gets good things. He gets more fun. We get to go to the airport. We get to go to another airport. And at this point in time, travel is just normalized for him. Like he literally said to me the other day, because we drove by the airport, like, hey, when we're going back to the airport, can we go to Hawaii? This is literally what a 3-year-old is like saying, because it's so normalized for him. But that's just the way my wife and I has chose to parent. Now, if you want to get into the pretentious entitlement, my 3-year-old son has more status than you. So he actually deserves to be in that lounge and sit in the front probably more than you. And I'm not joking. I'm not joking at all. He actually has airline status, and you probably aren't a basic member, a general member. He is literally on the upgrade list at age 3 by himself on the premier list because we travel so much. So he ain't old enough for a credit card, but his dad, it sure is. And the amount of travel, if he was 18 or 21, you best believe, just from me alone, not what he learned from me at that age, he deserves to be in there more than you. And I'm going to hold strong on that as well. So I don't care. But don't create an argument that kids don't belong. Everybody can belong. You don't have a problem with the kids. You have a problem with their actions. So let's complain about the actions, not about the kids themselves.
Lonnie, have you ever come across a situation where the kid gets upgraded before you and your wife?
Oh, absolutely. And of course, I have the higher status because I have to travel more than he does. But does we travel enough where he organically can get silver and United Gold status? Yes, that's what I'm saying.
No. Has it ever come up where like he's gotten bumped up to like first or business, but you haven't?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know how that could happen if I'm the one booking the ticket.
Man, I don't know.
Maybe there's a glitch in the matrix, and they're like, we're gonna upgrade this charming little gentleman.
Now, there has been times because for some reason, this has happened more than once. I always put him as the second person on our family itineraries when I'm booking. So it's me, then him, and then my wife. And I do it that way. So when I pick seats, for example, let's say row BC, in this case, CBA, because I would sit on the aisle, I'd be C. I can just do 1, 2, 3. So I do it that way for that reason. Now, when I've done it, it takes the second person and put them on the upgrade list and the third person as not. So there's been times where he and I have been upgraded. So let's say there's only 2 seats, for example. And instead of canceling the whole family out, he and I would get upgraded and my wife would be stuck in the back. Now, of course, I would never do that. My family, we stick together. So don't nobody judge me. If I'm like, if we all can't go, then none of us go. That's how I feel. And if you've ever been on a flight with me where they've been like, Mr. Lonnie, you get upgraded. And I'm like, what about my family? No, it's only for you. Then I'm like, give it to the next person. Because I'm not separating my family, period. I never have, never will, never. That's not going to happen. So y'all don't start judging coming at me for that. But there has been times where like he and I, because he's like number 2, I guess, on the itinerary, or first companion, if you want to call it that, where we've gotten upgraded and she has not. But then I just tell somebody, or even if I don't go to the flight attendants or the gate agent, I'll usually just find a couple or a family and be like, hey, you guys want to trade so my family can stay together.
That is the acceptable version of, hey, do you want to trade seats? Is the, I don't want to take an upgrade without my wife and my son. Here you have it. Versus the person who books 1 first class ticket and everybody else in the middle of the plane and then tries to get everybody around that first class seat to trade.
Yeah, my wife is actually the latter. She's actually for it in most cases. So especially towards the end of the year when it's, we need X amount of PQPs, Premier Qualifying Points with United to make sure that we solidify like 1K status. Oh, she'll be the first person to be like, all right, who's closer? And usually me, because I travel more. Not this year. Actually, she's beaten me like by 2 business trips. She's on a business trip right now. But anyway, where it's like, you just book first class so you get the PQP to get the status, and then we'll sit in the back. Like she's 100% for that, because if we continue with 1K, it doesn't matter. If I have 1K, when I book a itinerary, all 3 of us get the 1K benefits. So only one of us in the family needs it. So she's very on board of, if we got to separate and you got to fly first class to make sure that you solidify status, then go ahead and do it. And I'm the same way, where I'm like, yo, if you need to like a first class seat, I don't mind sitting in the back to save money, save points, miles, money, whatever it is, so that you get the status. Because once we're all on the same itinerary, we all have the same, whoever has the highest status, everyone else on the itinerary has that status as well. Get all the same benefits, even though they don't have that status. It's one thing we love about United.
But you're not asking the person next to the person who booked the first class to change with the person who didn't book the first class.
No.
Which is a thing I have actually seen. I saw it on this trip. Somebody was trying to convince somebody in first class to go back to row 18 so they could sit next to their 16-year-old child.
No, not my problem. I've had even young families with like infants, where I sit on the aisle. We've talked about this, like Craig and I, we need the space, where they're like, oh, I have a baby, so you should trade me and you sit next to the window. I'm like, no. Well, I'm going to be tapping you to get up often. Okay. But no, I'm not sitting next to the window. You should have booked before me. Should have picked the seat before me. I'm sorry. But I do that. Yes. I'm not just going to give up my seat. If I'm on this side aisle and you're on that side aisle, then sure, I don't care. But if you want me to give up my seat for a middle seat or window seat, you can kick rocks. I don't care how old that baby is. You can kick rocks. I'm not doing it. I can't sit over there. I usually just say like claustrophobic or anxiety or something. I got a medical condition, but to like dead the situation quickly. But no, I'm not doing it.
Also, to the people complaining, buy a higher class ticket, because then you get into the more exclusive lounge.
Domestically, that's not so much true.
Earn more money. Buy a private jet.
I say on airlines like United, where you buy your ticket and you get to pick your seat, stick with your selection. Now, if you buy it late and there's not a lot of seats left, I'm sorry that you bought it late, but that doesn't mean the other 200, 300 people need to fold because of your procrastination. No matter what it is, no matter if it was procrastination, maybe it's an emergency, maybe you just had to buy late. That's not anyone else's fault. And everyone picked their seat for their reason. And if those seats don't work, and I do this, if I look before I book a flight, I actually go to United, hit the seat map drop down. You can actually see all the seats. If I don't like the seats available, I pick a different flight. I literally would just go pick a different flight, because I'm like, I don't want to sit in the back, or I can get 3 seats next to each other so my family can sit next to each other. The FAA only allows one parent with a kid. So if my kid will always sit next to myself or my wife, period. So even if there's no seats next to each other, they are required, every airline is required to put that minor with an adult or a guardian of some kind, period. So they're going to move people around for that. Cool, I'm all right with that. But that's only 2. If I can't get all 3 or the seat that I want, I'll pick a different flight. Period. End of story. So that's where I draw the line on that. You can't sit me down on the plane. I have put my bag up. I got my AirPods in. I got my foot kicked out into the aisle, and then be like, can I have your seat? No, it's too late for that. It's too late for that. Take your ass somewhere. Too late for that.
I appreciate the tangent that I don't have to edit this week.
Yeah. It's going to take a lot for me to give up my seat. You better be super elderly and in pain, but it's going to take a lot for me to give up my seat.
Also, final suggestion, just burn down the airports. We're done.
Matt, I need to say as a disclaimer, Stack Your Points does not condone burning down airports or property damage.
But RJ did not apparently does condone me not giving up my seat.
I do condone Lonnie keeping his seat. Yes, I am pro Lonnie keeping the seat that he paid for and picked specifically.
Just be better. Be better people, or if you're going to continue to be that style of person, make more money and stop dealing with the plebes. And get off the internet.
Matt, are you okay?
No.
Okay.
Matt's having a day.
I see that.
Matt watched the wrong video on YouTube.
Did the Islanders lose today or something?
No, they're good. Matt Schaefer's about to break a record. It's going to be awesome. No, they did not lose today.
My topic's done, Matt, so I'm going to turn it back to you.
Hooray! Lonnie, your topic.
My topic this week is that free night certificates aren't all they're hyped up to be. And I want somebody, I know this is going to trigger somebody, but I want to be proven wrong. So if you're not on the panel, put it in the comments. But there's reasons behind it. One, let's just go back to someone that has a 3-person family and studio standard rooms is all you can get on a free night certificate. I need more space than that. So I use my free night certificates. I'm not going to say that I don't. Like my Marriott's, my Hilton's, my ISG discount, if you will, because you're not going to stay at Intercontinental on the 10K free night award. You're going to stay at a Holiday Inn in the Midwest on I-74. But when it comes to all those free night certificates, you get that standard room, which is basically a basic room. That is the bottom of the barrel basic room, usually one of the cheapest rooms that the hotel offers. And yes, it can be at a great hotel, very luxurious hotels, if you will. They got standard room awards in the Maldives and Bora Bora, the places that we talk about never actually go. But it's great if you're a couple or traveling solo. But when you have a family of 3, maybe family of 4, like my kid's still young enough where if he wants to crawl in the bed with my wife and I, we don't care. He's only a toddler, whatever. He's at that age. But what if you had an 8-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 12 and a 10-year-old? It doesn't really work out that well. And you're at the mercy of, please let me get an upgrade. And I don't have a problem with you asking for an upgrade because this guy does it all the time. I ask for one. Every single time, multiple times. I email in advance, I call in advance, I show up and talk to somebody. When I get there, I'm a guy that asks for the upgrade, so I don't have anything against that. But you're at the mercy of the upgrade if you want more space, is what I'm saying. So, that means they're not all they're hyped up to be, in my opinion. That's my argument. Matt, prove me wrong.
I can't.
Good answer.
No. Well, here's the thing, right? When looking at the various brands, looking at the rules associated with the free night certificates, there's a lot of restrictions so that they're not just giving away, not the presidential suite, but they're not giving away the room with a room with a room, because those are high ticket items. You're not going to be able to walk in. You're not going to be able to book a free night certificate with Hilton, an uncapped free night certificate. You can blow this is a night that is worth all the points. You're not going to get a room, the original Waldorf Astoria, and you're not going to get like that top end suite at the Waldorf using that free night certificate. It's going to be a regular room
without the upgrade, that is. Yeah,
without the upgrade, but then you've got to roll the dice and get the upgrade up to the suite. If you get the upgrade, you've hit the lottery. If you don't get the upgrade, you're stuck. And that is the most generous of the free night certificates in the game. The Hilton certificate, uncapped in terms of points. You can use that at a property that is, let's say 40,000, because I think that's the least number of points for a like Hilton Garden Inn. I could be wrong, but I feel like 40 is about the minimum, up to a 250,000 point room. That's a standard room. There's no limit whatsoever. That's the most generous one. And you've got to play roulette every single time you call, because Hilton doesn't believe in letting you book a free night certificate in the app or on their website. You have to call them so that they can sell you the Hilton Grand Vacation presentation. You sign up for one, you never book it, and they keep emailing and calling you about it incessantly because you don't want to sit through a 2.5-hour timeshare, and you're not going to force your partner into a 2.5-hour timeshare, even though you spent money on it.
I couldn't anyway because I'm married, so my partner has to go, but you can't bring kids. So catch 22.
Yep. Did not like signing up for one of those and then never following up on it. Yep. That was fun. Just lit $200 on fire. But then it gets worse when you go to Marriott. It gets worse when you go to IHG. It gets worse when you have Hyatt. Like those are restricted to categories or bands of points on the hotels. Mm-hmm. Marriott, you can add 15,000 points, but then Marriott will get cheeky and you have the 85,000 point certificate, which is great for you, and you can top it up to 100,000 points. But the hotel you really want to use it at, and the
was 101,000 this week.
Exactly. Exactly. So just being able to use your standard certificate can be such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, Marriott, when you do that, blur this out. There we go.
Exactly. IHG is just as guilty of this. You can top it up 20,000 points. You get a 40,000 point free night certificate. You can top it up to 60,000 points. The place you want to stay is 72. Hyatt, you got yourself a category 1 to 7. That's awesome. And that is the next most usable free night certificate in the game after Hilton. But again, there's going to be restrictions, and now I'm sure it's going to be tied to, it can't be top nights. It can be whatever their new third tier is going to be, because instead of shuffling everything up from, I've got a category 1 to 4, everywhere you want to stay is a 5. Instead of that game being the game, now it's going to be, we've got 5 price bands in all of our tiers, and you can only use your free night certificate for the tier in bands 1, 2, and 3. If it's a band 4 or 5, you're out of luck. Watch that be a nerf to the free night certificate. And if it is, you heard it here first. Free night certificates are absolutely not all that they're hyped up to be. Everybody likes there's quick value estimates that you can throw on them, because the uncapped free night certificate with Hilton can be worth at least $1,000 if you book $1,000 a night standard room. There's so many provisos that you have to go through to get that $1,000 worth of value. And that's only one night that you're staying at that hotel. If you're booking a week, you need the other 4 nights to be put together on points or cash. How likely is that going to be for you?
Can't do free nights with points. You got to do 2 separate bookings.
Even better. And
or
they may
it'll
not
trigger the 5th night free, which means you're going to get it. They're just going to give you a night for free. So you got to do it separately.
Yeah. And then
Ask
you
me
can't,
how I know.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can't go back and ask them to join those 2 bookings, because it's not going to go, if it's less than 5 nights. Regardless, that's another wrinkle in the Hilton system. So like, you could get one really baller night at a Conrad, at a Waldorf, at the LXR, at the Crockfords in Vegas, or any Crockford attached to an LXR property, or however they do that extra level, or Hilton Club. There's tons of options, tons of value that you can extract from it. And yes, a free night can be super valuable, but you got to work for it.
Or accept your fate.
And play roulette.
Or accept your fate.
Yeah.
You thought the kids running around the lounge were a problem. You put a toddler here that's got the wiggles in a studio room with 2 queen beds in it. Someone's getting hurt.
Oh, the first
thing
thing
it might not be the toddler.
All the lounges are closed and all the free night certificates go away. I'm going to improve your quality of life by making it worse.
Yeah.
But no, I can't justify free night certificates across any program. Like, they are a lot of hype. They can be super valuable. They can definitely be super valuable, and the free night can equal more than what you pay on the annual fee of the card. That is a great coupon for you. But man, we in this community overhype the crap out of these things.
And I do want to preface, I'm not saying they're not valuable. I'm going to get my 3 from my Aspire card.
For sure.
I'm getting all 3 of them. My free one and my 30 and my 60K. And I still got 2 from last year. So I literally just booked a trip using 4 of them. I'm using 1 somewhere else. But I am not saying they're not valuable. I'm not saying they're not worth it. I am saying that they are not all they are hyped up to be. And this is coming from 2 young parents, y'all. This is Matt and I saying this, where we've seen these ain't all they hyped up to be. If I was still, my wife and I didn't have kids kid in my case, where we could travel and a studio room is enough. Anything above that is great. Oh, this is a win. Awesome. Yeah. You're not seeing it from the same perspective that a family like Matt and I are looking at it from. And that's okay. You might get there one day if that's your choice. That's what I'm saying. And not all are hyped up to be after you hit a certain point. And you could be solo dolo. You could just be super bougie. You could be bougier than me and be like, I don't want to stay in the studio room. And then you're in the exact same boat that they're not as hyped up to be. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying they're not valuable, because I know someone's going to be like, Lonnie said they're stupid, but yeah, he's still going for them. No, I'm going to get all of mine. I'm not saying they're not valuable. I'm just saying they're not all they're hyped up to be. RJ, passing the mic to you. I got no audio.
There we go. They're fine. They're fine. Like, they're fine. My professional opinion is they're fine. And I think that's the thing is people can't understand that things can just be fine in this community. Like they can be really like I'm using 2 IHG certs from my welcome bonus from the IHG card to take my best friend in New York City for her 40th birthday. We're staying at a new IHG property. It's right near where we're going to see the new Rocky Horror Picture Show. Really excited. It looks like it's going to be a great hotel. It hasn't opened yet, so hopefully by the time we go, we have some reviews to make sure it's not like a death trap, though it's brand new, so I'm assuming it's going to be all right. But it's fine. It's helpful. I use them. They're great. Would I rather have points than free night certs in almost every circumstance? Yes, because they're more flexible and I can do more with them. But they're fine. And I think the community sees something that can be useful, can be not, and instead of being like, yeah, this is fine, or having a nuanced take about them, the community must have the most extreme take because everything turns into extreme in this community. It's either great or it's terrible. The gold card is either the best card and everyone should have it, or it's trash and everybody should cancel it. There is never a moment where it's like, hey, this is useful for some people, for others it's not useful. It's okay if you're in either camp. It's okay if you get some use out of it and don't get other use out of it. There is never a nuanced take. So everybody has decided they're awesome because they're quote free, end quote, and that's how it rolls. So I think they're fine, and I think that's the correct ranking of them. And because the community can't be nuanced, it gets hyped to the point where Lonnie has to make it a topic.
And also, let's chill on the word free, because to get 3 free night award / certificates from Hilton on the Aspire card costs $60,550.
Yeah.
Full stop. So it better be organic spend, y'all.
That is
a topic for
that is more than most people spend in an entire year across that's more than most people in my area make in an entire year.
3 free nights. What do I gotta say it, RJ? I think I gotta say it. It'd be cheaper if you just go bought the 3 free nights in cash.
Absolutely. There's almost no hotel other than the ones we were talking about before that you're gonna spend 63 or 60 whatever plus $1,000 to get 3 nights in the top. I don't like I want to hold on. We're gonna do some real time because we're waiting for Matt anyway.
We're gonna do a stack your points and the Amman, New York 3-bedroom home. They don't even call it a suite. So I can get my 3 free nights at Hilton. Y'all better cash at me your portion. And for all y'all that are, yes, I will be getting like I said, I'll be getting mine. I'm not saying that because I'm balling or anything. I just know my organic spend will hit 60K within a year. I basically put everything on that card because I value Hilton. I'm going to stay at a Conrad. I'm going to stay at a Waldorf again. So that's just me. So I'm not trying to ball out here. I'm not trying to let's not go there.
I just wish that the community just had some nuance. That I think if I had the power.
Yeah. My business trips also go on that card. So my company helps me hit that 60K. And now I've lost both of my co-hosts. So let's see what we're going to end up doing here. Nothing. I'm just going to stop it here and allow Matt to edit all of this out. Let me check to see if there are any comments, though. We got any comments happening? Anybody watching right now? If you're watching right now, leave a comment. Let me know. Holla at your boy. Happy to answer while we're going. Does not look like it. I would say this is awkward, but it actually is not. I just have no one to talk to, just here on the internet, all alone, minding my own business, all alone.
There's a bunch of servers down, and I think it is affecting StreamYard.
I just sat here looking for someone to talk to for 5 minutes.
I'm sorry. Matt, everything has crashed for Matt. Hold on. I'm going click.
I couldn't even see if anyone was watching live. I'm like, yo, throw me some comments. Throw me a question while I'm here. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. No, it can be fixed in editing. I had to go click the link we used to get in originally to get it to work. I'm going to see if Matt can come back. If not, we've done our questions.
We've
So
done ours. And I don't know if we want to go down the rabbit hole of Matt's question.
his at least is supposed to be positive.
I feel like Matt's pulling back an onion with his day on that question.
Yeah. Let's see. Trying to see. We'll give him another minute or two.
Oh, so I also procrastinated. There's this computer monitor that I want.
Yeah.
And I was like, eventually it's going to go on sale. So I'll just never get it. And now I found out it's fully discontinued and never went on sale.
Oh, no. That's no fun.
Yep. Did it to myself. I guess it was that popular.
Sometimes it does be that way.
I don't want it that way. I want what I want.
I know.
Because I got to redo I want to redo my setup here. I love my monitor, but right now I'm using my laptop screen as this monitor. Where I want to just get an actual screen. So that way the next computer I get, it won't be a laptop. It'll be a desktop.
There you go.
I don't really need a laptop.
I think, going to eventually turn my M4 MacBook Pro into a Mac Studio and then just have it that way.
Yeah.
When I just had one laptop, it made sense for it to be a laptop, but I have the M5 14-inch, so it's like, why have two?
Like I literally just use my laptop as a secondary monitor. Like I don't.
Matt has no internet.
Oh. He has hotspot. Use his phone. Like I only use
And
the
he
screen
can't
on
hotspot for whatever reason.
it.
All right, we can end the show and then I can save it and he can grab it later. So hold on, let me go back to here.
That works.
All right. We have had some internet issues, everyone. We apologize. Hopefully Matt will be able to stitch the ending of this together. So I do want to thank our new server members. First one is Riffariv, and then TNBDB, QED, Sulfurs, and then of course our diamond members, Rupert Pond, Rygrex Hunter, Mitch 528, Keith, and Double Animal Fries. We appreciate all of you. We will be live on Thursdays and Mondays. Any final words, Lonnie?
I got nothing left for you. I think we said enough tonight.
I think we have. I am RJ. That is Lonnie.
Put your
Matt,
triggers in the comments.
Put your triggers in the comments. We will be back next week. Have a good night, everybody.